Hello Gophers and welcome back to part 15 of our Introduction to Go. In this video, we'll be learning about the data structure named as map. Before we move forward, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any notifications on any further videos that we will put forward. So let's start by understanding maps. Maps in Go is a spacious data structure where you can store a key value pair. So, a key that can be of type any primitive data type, let's say string or integer, boolean, but you don't want to keep a key as boolean because the only key rule is that the keys in the map should be unique. So, if you keep boolean as the key, it will definitely have only two keys possible then. You can also have a array as a key, but you cannot have a slice as a key because a slice is something that will have no defined length. That is why it is not allowed. But you can definitely have a array as a key of your map. So now let's start by understanding how we can declare a map. Now to declare a map, we can use two types to declare. So one is like explicitly declaring a map. So to do that, we create an variable by name employee and we use the make function. In make, we will give the type of map that we want to define. So map that will have keys of type string and the values would be of type int. Now you can have int 32 or bool or any type of values that you might want to store against the particular key. So over here I have kept as int only to keep the program a simple program. Now while assigning some values, what you can do if you have a list of values that you want to assign all together, you can go ahead and do that. So employee is equal to map and type of map again we have mentioned and then the key value pair separated by comma. So now let's run this program and see how the output comes. So if you see, we have got printed as map James 9 and John 8. It was this. So in map, you need to keep one more thing into mind before uh, printing it or using particular way of accessing it. Map does not guarantee the sequence as it was there in array and slices. So in array and slices, the print would result in the same sequence as it was there when you inserted the values. But in map, that is not the case. It can jumble up the sequence. So if you see, we inserted John first, which has a value of 8, and then James with value 9. So over here, when we got printed, we have James as 9 first, and then John as 8. But one thing that can be very sure of that key and value pair does not get jumbled. So you won't anytime get a value where James says a value of 8. That will not happen. But yes, the complete pair can move up and down anytime. Now, how we can insert one more key into the map? So to insert one more key, you just have to go ahead and mention the new key name, Ram, let's say, and equal to the value. Now let's try and print this. So we have got Ram in the end and it has got value 11. Now, this is how you can actually insert a value into a map. But how to access a value and get access a particular key from a map and get the value out of it. So to do that, let's say I have a variable of type number which can have employee and let's say I have James. Now I will also try to print this and we'll print this after we print the complete thing. So James percentage d and it's print ln, that is why it's giving me a squiggly line. Now let's try and print this. So it says James as 9. So this is how you can access a value out from the employee. But what happens if the key is not present? Let's say I entered James 1 by mistake, or I have misspelled, I have only written James. So what happens when we do this? So in this case, we will get a value of 0, a default value that is supposed to be for the value type. So if I might have used string as value, so we would have got an empty string there. So this is how this gets printed. Now, this you might feel that this is some sort of error and we should either raise a panic or handle this situation, because if the key is not present, then why we should actually print something against the key. So we have one more syntactic sugar that Go has provided. It says that you can access the value or is exist. So this is exist is something that you get in return from the accessing of your particular key in uh, the key from your map, and this will tell you that if the value is existing or not. So we can use if exist is true, then I'll print the value of James. Else I will print this thing that James does not exist in the map, and it is not there. I don't want to print all this. And to be very clear for our next statement, I'll also try and give a backslash n, and let's create key as JAME so that we don't try and repeat ourselves in mentioning the key name again and again. So key percentage s percentage s, because I don't want to repeat the key, because there might be situations where you might end up in writing something else in the first and then again something else in the second line. So to be very sure, I created a variable, and now let's run this. It says James does not exist in the map. So this is how you can actually check if some key does exist in a map or not. Now we'll try to delete a particular key from the map. To delete a particular key, we don't have any inbuilt function inside the map, but you can use the inbuilt function in the built-in package, that is delete. Delete, it will take first argument as the map name, employee, and then it will ask for the key name that you want to delete. Let's say I want to delete Ram from the map. If you have observed, we were getting Ram as output. Now let's try and print the complete map again after running this. So now if you see, initially we got Ram printed in the map, but now Ram is gone. So this is how you can delete from a map. So, and if you want to like change the values, yes, you can do it. So over here, when I'm printing this, I can go ahead and employee dot key, and initially, let's say I am accessing James. Initially, James has 9. I'll give 19, and now let's try and print this. So if you see, James is 9, and now after this, we have converted the value, and now we can see in map James is 19. So this is how you can add a key into a map, delete a key from a map, create a map, and do normal arithmetic operations from the value if the value is of type integer, or whatever you want to do on your map, you can do. Now you can also check the length of map. Now by length of map I mean how many keys are actually present in the map. To do that, we'll use the built-in function len. This should print the length of the map. So it says 2 because as we have observed in the earlier output, there were only two keys because we deleted the third key ram from here. So it printed 2. So this is how you can access length of the map also. Now on maps you can also use the range keyword that we have used in array or slices in our earlier videos. Now if you are not aware about the array and slices, please feel free to click on the eye icon so that you can go to the video where I have explained about array and slices in detail. So if you can see, I've used the range keyword to range on the map. This will result and give me an output where it will return the key and the value iterating through the map object. Now I've printed the key name and the value directly. Now let's see what output we get. So we get key name John, value 8, then key name James, value 19. That was the last value that was existing in the map just before the for loop got executed. So if you see the existing was James 19, which we got printed, and then John 8, which got printed. Now, employee does not get this map does not guarantee the sequence. That is why if you compare this with the earlier execution, the in the first previous execution, the first was John, but over here it is James. So you are not guaranteed of for the sequencing. And if you want to get this printed in sequence, then you need to write a logic where you might use sorting algorithms to sort the keys and get the keys stored in some array or slice, and then in the sorting order you sort those keys, and then you try to access the keys directly using uh, this mechanism and then print. So you need to put in some efforts to sort your map when printing in case if you want. One more important thing about maps is a map are reference type variables. So that means that if I copy the employee map to an EMP map and I change something in the EMP, the same changes will get reflected in the original map as well. Now, what I have done is we already have deleted the RAM keyword, RAM key from the employee's map, and we have printed this for us. And let's comment this range thing over here. And now let's change something and add RAM again in EMP. Now let's print this too. So let's see how this behaves. Now, if you have observed that uh, earlier, it did not have RAM over here. Then in employee and in EMP, both we have got RAM. So you should be very careful when you are using maps and you're copying the value to some other map variable and modify something, because that will get reflected in the original map also, because maps are reference type variables. So that's all on maps, and now we'll discuss about struct and its advantages, how we can declare struct, how we can use struct, how we can add functionality or methods to a struct, those things in the next video. Thank you for watching the video. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also press the bell icon so that you don't miss on any new notifications. Also do comment us below on any feedbacks or any new tutorials that you want us to do.